some gloves are like really hard to put on. It's good to spray your hands with alcohol first, and that makes it a lot easier to put on. Cool. So he was smart and put the Petri plates in a Ziploc bag. So great. We have our alcohol lamp. We have our mushroom. We have our scalpel. And we have our alcohol. We got our clove hood. So I'm gonna open this. Anything that you put in front of the hood, like spray it down with alcohol.
The spray you're using is at 70%?
This is 70% isopropyl alcohol. Open it up. Actually, someone sitting here? Cool. Can everyone see this? If you can't, like, please huddle around and watch. So first I want to sterilize my scalpel. So I'll wipe it, just the blade. I already wiped the whole thing with isopropyl alcohol. I'll put in this flame. It's good to wait till it gets like red hot. Some people just do a pass through. Totally up to you. And then I want to cool the blade before I jab it into the mushroom, because the heat will kill the mycelium. So I'll open up the plate and I'll kind of put the blade in the agar. And if you listen closely, you'll hear the sizzle of the blade cooling down. So once I got it cooled down, I'll open up the mushroom. And so basically, as you can see, this mushroom has been, out and about, and bacteria spores are on the outside. So I want to open this up to a piece in the center that has never been exposed to the outside air. So in there, that's sterile. It hasn't been exposed to the outside air. And I'll kind of cut a little piece, maybe a little triangle or a little square. It is good to pre-cut a little shape before you try to scoop it out. And once I got a piece, I plop it right in the center and close the dish. Then I'll take a piece of parafilm. And there's like a paper backside, and then the parafilm. So I kind of rip it a little bit to expose both the sides, and take the paper off, and then wrap it around the dish. So I take my pointer finger, I hold it down, take the other hand, I stretch it. And a lot of beginners will like pull too hard and it'll snap. So you'll get used to like the feeling of it. Pull it, and you want to cover all the surface of it, and it'll stick to itself. So this is a culture of coral tooth. Then I'll take my Sharpie, and I like to label it in 4 sections. So the top would be its name. Hopefully you know the Latin name. So coral tooth. At the the media.
It's MEA plus. There's some micronutrients added.
Great. So MEA, that's malt extract in the agar. So malt extract agar, MEA. And different formulas call for like different different labels, and then the plus is like some micronutrients. So I like to do the formula at the bottom, MEA plus. So when we're switching up the nutrients and like, preventing it from senensing, we can know, what was the last nutrient blend. Then I like to put the date. Does anyone know what today's date is?
Yeah, it's the 11.
The 11th?
Yeah, 8/11.
Cool, so 8/11, 18. And then where is this in a stage of culturing? I like to put WC, wild clone. Some people will put P1 or G1 as like the first petri dish, or the first generation, or like MC, master culture, whatever you want to do. I do WC because I know, I just cloned it from the wild.
But is it from his bag?
Yeah.
So the ML question mark. Much love, you don't know.
Yeah. 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 So this is cultivated, so the genetics are,
No.
this is old. So we don't know how long ago this has been cultured from the wild.
It's referred to as HEALS, at least on its bag, if you wanted to duplicate that out. It says heals. HEALS.
ELS. I think that's the name. So I did coral tube HEALS for the name. I'm still gonna do WC because I don't know like what stage it's at. And that just tells me like, yeah, I'm taking it from the mushroom. And then I can talk to Charlie and see how old this is. So that's kind of the setup for your agar. And it's good to put it back in a plastic bag, or it's sealed so you can put it up here, and you're done. Option to put your name on it if you're in a group. Cool. So who wants to try it out, or if anyone has questions before we jump into like actually doing it?
If you're cloning like a regular cap and stem mushroom, is there a particular area you want to take from?
Yeah, that's a good question. I was hoping to have a bunch of different mushrooms here to like kind of point out different things.
Do you want a whiteboard?
Yeah, I'll just draw it. So imagine this is like a cross-cutting, like someone cut this in half, or you ripped it in half. This is like the juicy section. A lot of times it's like really meaty, and a lot of people say like anywhere on this region has the most DNA, but I find this is the best part to take from, where the cap meets the stem. But it totally depends on the mushroom. You kind of rip it open and see where the meatiest part is. This is Cordyceps senescens. So this is a mushroom growing out of a caterpillar head. And this is hard. Like this, I need the dental pick. I gotta rip it open and take like the tiniest little piece. So it totally depends what you're working with. Any more questions?
And you said you could do them from dry specimens as well as...
Yeah, and that's something to consider is like, how was it dried? Some people like crank it, and they'll dry it way too hot and it'll actually kill the mycelium. I like to dehydrate stuff at around 95 degrees Fahrenheit. And that works for me, dehydrates it, but it also keeps it active.
Do you rehydrate in peroxide?
Nope. Some people rehydrate in peroxide. I don't. I kind of like surface sterilize the outside with alcohol, then I rip it open and take from the center. And that works for me.
Sorry, you just mentioned that if it heats too hot, it'll kill the mycelium. I know a lot of fungarians. I dehydrate low because I'm processing it, but if they are dehydrating too hot, does that mean that like a lot of our specimens from fungarians we would not be able to culture, or is it just more difficult?
I don't know the temperature in which mycelium dies, and it's also per strain.
Yeah, right.
So
Makes
like
sense.
pink oyster, you know, can probably go at a higher temperature. But like a cold strain, you know, I don't know. Probably is a lower temperature. So it's all it depends on the culture. A lot of cultures in Hungarians are like from 1800s, and like I don't think you can take a culture from that. But I don't know.
Start from spores.
Mushrooms are Brazilian as hell, so
Yeah, right.
you probably. Or if you're like very skilled, you can take some of the spores.
Right.
Who knows? Yeah, I mean, we found spores that were like 60 million years old and, you know, fruited mushrooms from us. Or 20 million years old and fruited mushrooms from us. So, you know, it depends. So, any other questions before we demo? We don't have too much time, but I want everyone to like practice getting hands-on stuff. No? Who wants to volunteer to go first? Great.
What kind of sugar do you use for the liquid culture?
There's a bunch of different recipes. You can just use honey water. A lot of people use like Caro. You can use malt extract. There's like crazy recipes with 12 different ingredients. A lot of people put gypsum in it. But I found honey water is awesome because it keeps the liquid culture clear. If you put more stuff in it, it clouds up the water. And that's a good indicator of whether your jar is contaminated. Because it'll start to cloud up and you can't see through it. And that's like, oh, that's probably a bacteria or a yeast or something else.
Does the honey have to be not raw? And yeah, can you talk more about the different honey types? Raw honey, I understand, has like way more than if you got like cooked honey.
Yeah, I've used a bunch of different honeys and had great success, and I've used like shitty Caro, and like, yeah, and
I
yeah,
think because it gets sterilized, it's not raw anymore.
Even though it says, once you put it in, okay.
yeah, but I mean, support your local apiary and, yeah, support your local beekeeper. On that note, kind of off topic, but my friend Michael Weiss is handing out cultures of Metarhizium that can attack varroa mites. And it is patented by Monsanto, now Bayer, so you can't like sell it in a way, but he's handing it out for free. So if you are a beekeeper or know beekeepers, you can get a culture from Michael Weiss and experiment in your apiary to help fight against colony collapse.
What was that again?
It's called Metarhizium. I think it's called like M52. It's the name of the culture.
M52?
I think so. Don't quote me on that. Yeah.
Can you spell his last name?
Weesse. He's actually here this weekend, and he might have the culture. He has like a ponytail, really good foraging. If I see any of you, I'll point him out. Or you can just yell, Michael Weiss, and try to find him. It's a small area. So we're running out of time, so anyone who wants to like jump in, go for it. Not gloves or masks.
We can probably squeeze 2 people.
Great. If we want another person, maybe pull up another chair.
We have 2 skeletons. Okay, I'll leave it. You did have some supplies.
You can, I can probably squat. Okay, yeah, try it out.
You got scissors. This is what I pulled.
Oh, see, that was my skill.
Yeah.
Oh, I only have one. Yes.
I have one of them.
Yes. You can maybe use this, it might be a little hard. Yeah, I think it'll be a little hard to get the saw. Yeah, so you don't wipe it without saw, and just flame sterilize the tip. Yeah, and the option is to wear gloves. That's approved.
That'll be good. A lot of it has to do if it's above 80
Oh, nice. How you got it?
yeah,
I was jumping up, I gotta.
so you're seeing like
And if anyone goes on a foray today and they find like a really cool edible medicinal mushroom that they want to clone, we're gonna set up a lab somewhere, and so find either me or Jay with your specimen, and we can probably clone it. Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah.
So you spray your hands and your mouth.
Yeah, it seems simple. I tried
Yeah, I would spray everything.
and just like hair contamination. I mean, it was probably something that I did. It wasn't the fault of the operator, but you know, still, that was like the most recent thing that I did. And I was like, all right,
Yeah, the gloves are just to prevent your gum.
some info from
Do you have more Ziplocs with you? Just to send people off.
Yeah, there's like five.
Do you want to watch it? Yeah, man. I'll mix that up. Yeah, we just do we have a mark? Yeah, we're just
Here's some more Ziplocs if you want to put your final dish in. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna use the bathroom really quick, but then I'll be
You know,
back.
it's not actually a method that I use. So that was I have tried it, and we're organic certified, so they really so
I was just thinking if I don't do a bag,
do the ratios back down. Yeah, exactly. I would check with Alex if you're gonna do that. You've been making grain smooths.
No, it's not my daughter's been doing it.
Generally speaking, I would shoot the grains for you and just face the finger. One way or the other. And if you want to, we're really just trying to get the grains more than it's sterilized. There still needs to be a little bit of a dry element, but not so we'll hydrate hot water. Like water filter on, add the grains, and start putting the grains. Put a metal spoon in the pot. When the grains start sticking to the spoon, open it off. You're getting close. Try using the hair on the side of it. Being able to stick my thumb down into the grain, depress it, release it, and the grains are still bouncing. That's a good way to think about it too. Yeah, I mean, in general, we're just trying to not get grains to explode up in a sterilization process. That's all I'm really trying to do. No, no. Definitely works really good for
Can I give you this little advice?
It's basically a
If
way
you like lean over,
instead of
like air follicles and stuff, so it's good to be like fire out of water. Yeah. It's hard with that,
usually the water gets
especially with Parisian because it's really stringy. So it's like, yeah, you got
but
it.
it really it's great
That's great. That's good.
you know it's until it's under commercial
Yeah, yeah, or it's all like keep pretty like 7 questions. A lot of people make once you harvest so with that finger that you're like in mid, kind of hold on to it like this, and then stretch it with the other leg. Yeah.
They live in their land was colonized by
And you want to like choke up on it. Yeah, so at that point I would maybe like choke up on this.
Took me a little while. I think
so the community is
Yeah, let it grow out, and once it's like this grown out, then
go
put
find
it
the
in.
chosen name.
Or, work with it and export it to more. That's like, see if it gets contaminated, and like you can like chase cultures. So if you see the mycelium growing, and then you see a little like contamination, a lot of them is like bright.
I remember.
You see it actually like before these are spores. So you can see it like before they're formed, they're technically spores, and then chase it and like wrap it on the mycelium and then put it on
Chances are it's better to look at the bigger
yeah, agar is really like nutrient dense and like it's
There's a
like
lot of
contamination.
soft that a lot of times it's not
4 years ago,
Yeah. Yeah, it's a whole nother. Yeah, I have to like sit down and talk. Yeah.
Oh, without it.
Like you find like shrine.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
It's like a whole nother.
It's pressure on the pressure. It's way hot.
I mean, I can see the equipment really
Does anyone else want to practice?
So when I got here, I was pretty like,
You tried?
hey,
instead of it's
Yeah, thank you.
it'll be a lot
you're very sterile. And you know that,
I mean, a lot of times
And you're welcome to wear gloves, your mask.
get challenged as well.
and you know that. And I applied for
Hasn't
yeah, I
days, it's just oh yeah, by all means. Yeah, they're all in three packs. If there's a clear dish on the top like this one, that's just one. Yeah. Still works.
He does fridge.
Yeah, and then the fridge.
So you want to open that up and take a dish and
and that brought me to
prepare some.
Okay.
interesting
I mean, that's where,
mushroom conferences.
you know, I always start with taking like real back.
Yeah.
Black hills. Outside of Ashland. Yeah.
Yeah. Like don't melt the plastic bit, but yeah. Doesn't
So
matter.
that was really exciting. I saw the
Generally speaking,
try to, like,
first thing, first time I had my mediation.
Yeah.
That was Sorry. Coleman, like my stage for about like,
You can buy de-sterilized needles.
and then I got some, and then I
Yeah, or you can take an alcohol soaked piece of paper and you just wipe it. It's not the best, but it'll a lot of
I was
make a shape in it with the tone in it.
just over the top, so
just like oh yeah, just like
so they pull it down like that.
all my cultivation. Yeah, because 600 shit. I was only gonna go for 3 months, and they're like, that's not enough. You need to come for 6.
Mind if I take a picture?
Okay, so I took that week, I dropped out of that semester in school, and I bought a car, and ran needle and work. Really incredible they didn't provide me the housing, but I found
That's good.
with the community that was
You want to take it? Like take the scalpel.
and I got to meet Sue, who was so amazing. So it was like all great male dominant, and then there was Sue, and like whenever and she would do Reiki at work, like Reiki Fridays.
Mycelium that you might like kill it.
And then like on Good Energies with her, you got like 2 other CEOs who was like very serious. Yeah, just to get on top of the press or something. And then she would be like on her press interview, she'd be like taking her shoes off and like making the camera come like plans and stuff. So they were like
Just pop that right in the same.
and then we'd have like local show days. Yeah, over like clean out the whole warehouse.
That's good.
Yeah.
For the future, like, nice to like use your finger a lot to like do stuff. It's good to like just use the tools. Just to like minimize that. It just takes practice. Like, yeah, totally. Yeah. And even with a ton of practice, you'll do these things and be like, oh, can't do that anymore.
Has anyone made a list of which funguses are fussy, like some you can just spread on a pile of wood chips and don't have a problem, others you have to cook logs?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, any like cultivation manual, and then it's like it depends, you know. Yeah, like they're, you know, like Stropharia and oyster are like the least fussy, and like same with cubensis is like they're easy, they're super aggressive. Other ones will grow super slow, and they love sterile environment. Like Stropharia won't fruit in a sterile environment. It needs bacteria to eat it, you know?
Well, that's kind of how I got involved in this.
There's another piece of paraffin.
My wife's a gardener, and she wants compost, so I'm looking for something to turn this around and sod this before I get, some kind of ticket for it. And so,
Yeah, just like once you put it in there, then you count see.
yeah, unfortunately, I used a lot of the stuff that doesn't like the ground, treated things that don't like the ground.
Exactly.
And so if it likes a challenge, this is good.
At the end of the day, we're all like I'm still learning. Like, I'm still getting my
Got to get them started. So still
Thank you. Your talk was very informative as somebody who knows really very little about that.
oysters, I got bacon,
Alright, so then I'm
and then we had a piece of a micro lamb that we used to use for a foot under the frame support. And we had a huge oyster growing out of it. The micro lamb has got so much glue.
Yeah, I mean, once you like remake your jar, the energy water and all that stuff, it's all dirty. I mean, clean but not sterile. And then you put everything in the mushroom.
Understand, put it outside.
Yep. Yep.
So think of the internal.
Yeah, I had a glass blower make all these like marbles with a mushroom in it, and so I used that as the one I brought didn't have it, but yeah, those are fun.
Now, the way that baby
That
works really good is the same
put
time.
it in the
I'm gonna try and,
And just jam it into
since it doesn't fruiting more in the bag, see if it's They seem like sugar.
Yeah, you can keep it. Yeah, you can bring home. Yeah, watch it grow in the pit. If you get contamination, you can watch those grow in the pit. Yeah, and they're fun. Sometimes they're like cool colors, and just, you know, it's still part of the process.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Does anyone else want to do some stuff? No? Great. Thanks, everyone. Yeah, I think it's like a cousin.
We all not a lot of
You roll up with that?
I'm good for now. Thank you.
here.
I still got a couple more questions I want to ask.
Thanks again.
Thanks. Thanks.
There's a lot of dynamics.
Very briefly, we did this thing at